Hey guys, welcome back to another Sunday night show. Right off the bat, the big news of last week has to be Facebook. Big decline in daily active users and the market was 100% merciless here. So a huge drop in Facebook shares, 22% in one day. I've never seen anything like it. It was like a $200 billion market cap that was essentially lost like that. I think this is a viable trade. This might play out the same way we saw Netflix play out 1 week before. It did have that post-drop bounce. Netflix hit around like 350. It went as high as 420. It's a little bit below that now. We could potentially see this with Facebook, but I have a theory that the bleed out might continue after a bounce. I'll buy a little bit here to play the bounce, but the bleed out might continue. Drop in daily active users is a very big deal for a lot of these major tech companies because a lot of the times their valuations that are heavy or if they're not profitable, I'm not saying that's the case here with Facebook, but those types of things don't really matter as long as you have the ability to grow, because with more users comes the ability to theoretically generate more ad revenue. So it was at $1 trillion market cap not too long ago. It's well below that now. I think Facebook's market cap is what, 659 billion according to Google, and it was over $1 trillion. So it's had a huge beating. Honestly, I think I'm gonna probably take the trade this week just on the fact that it was at $380 a share back in August, early September. I do see a potential for a continued bleed out. So if this trade fails to materialize by next week, I'm out of it with a loss if it doesn't bounce. So keep that in mind. Facebook is getting crushed here. Mark Zuckerberg is probably let's be real here. His life isn't affected at all. I know you guys want me to make fun of him, but he's rich as shit. What does he care if it drops a little bit? I mean, to him, he's a billionaire either way, so it doesn't really make a difference in his life. Some ongoing problems beyond that. I don't want to really talk too much about earnings and revenue because I think with a lot of these tech companies, as we've seen with Snapchat, it doesn't really matter as long as you have that continuous growth. So I don't really want to talk about that. That's not really what the market cares about. The market's caring about the fact whether Facebook's fad is done. Now, a couple other things I want to talk about. This is less into the trading realm, more into the overall theory behind Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg has been a pretty good investor. He's actually been a very good investor, and he's had 91 acquisitions through Facebook since Facebook started. And they've been lucrative. Instagram was a huge acquisition for Facebook. I think they spent almost 10% of their market cap. Essentially, they bought Instagram at one point when it was like 10% of their entire market cap. So he's been very good with acquisitions and growing Facebook that way. And I'm not going to count him out right now. I know he's putting a lot of money behind the metaverse. That's another thing that Wall Street's very concerned about, the metaverse. What are its prospects? Mark Zuckerberg already dumped $10 billion into the metaverse. Let's just say Meta, okay? He dropped $10 billion into some technology that may or may not pay off. So people are worried he's becoming a little speculative now with his dreams and vision, and he might be taking Facebook down with it. I think that's actually why the market's nervous here. Having said that, from 380 to 237, this thing has gotten beat up. It could continue to bleed out, but I'm going to do the same thing I did with Netflix. I'm going to take a slightly smaller trade on this because there was no real indication that a bottom was honestly near, to be honest with you guys. So just keep that in mind when you do take this trade. Or if you do take this trade, that this might not be the end here. So I'm a little bit less confident on Facebook than I am on Netflix, but I'm still going to take this trade right for 1 week. If it goes against me, it's getting cut. Anyway, the next thing I want to talk about is Amazon. Amazon had blowout numbers. Jeff Bezos, that spaceship dick building motherfucker, has done it again. The price of Amazon keeps going higher. I'm real happy for him, you know, and honestly, in my opinion, that really helped save the market later on in the week after Facebook's abysmal earnings basically trashed the market. And honestly, you guys, you can just be trading the overall S&P 500 just based on the fact that the largest technology plays, Amazon, Facebook, are just moving these markets. So keep that in mind. Amazon had some really good news, to be honest with you. And Amazon, I think more and more people are just relying on Amazon. Having said that, it's well off its highs. Its 52-week high was back around 37.73. I would say in July. It's well off of that right now. We'll see if Monday, if the tape moves. I'm gonna continue to watch Amazon as a play right here. We'll see how the market continues to pick up on more shares because it's still off its highs and it's had quite a bounce on Friday. So if you guys recall, last week I talked a little bit about Snapchat as a must-watch trade, and I try to keep my Sunday videos to mostly trades and not talk too much about the economy or whatever. So Snap had the exact opposite effect as Facebook. Its daily active users has gone up, and people, this goes back to Facebook, people think Facebook's out of fad, Snapchat and platforms like TikTok are like the new fad. And, you know, it's had revenue growth and all that other stuff. Huge results on Snapchat. It rocketed probably like around 62% at one point, and it had a net profit. So overall, Snapchat had blowout numbers. I'm going to continue to watch this trade. I think you got to keep looking at Snapchat here because Snap is on the run, and it's had quite a drop off from several months back since October. I think you can actually buy this right here despite it having a massive rally. Let's wait and see how the market plays out once again on Monday. I'm definitely watching Snapchat. Yeah, let's keep moving along here. AMD, still watching this trade. It had blowout earnings and the tape seems to be moving higher despite the market being slightly on shaky ground, so I'm still watching the tape on AMD. Let's talk earnings now. So overall, the market's still a little bit shaky, earnings calendar, but the S&P seems to be holding at a good place. As I mentioned last week, the S&P's got to cleanly break above 4,500 convincingly because you know, it has like 100-point moves now intraday, daily. So convincing to me right now is it's got to probably break maybe 4,500 and stay there and not get hit with Facebook earnings. Facebook earnings came at a really bad time, I believe. Yeah, so with the overall market where it's at, we're still relying on earnings. I think most of the big earnings are out the door. So Fed news is back in. The reality check on interest rates are back in. Yeah, let's go right into it. Let's go on Monday. Ticker symbol AMGN, AMGN, of course. We're going to watch that, a very large biotech company. Worth watching on Monday. It's usually a big trade. And once again, it's not at record highs. I wouldn't be too nervous if it drops on Monday. I'm probably not going to buy the drop. It has like the overall stock has not dropped off that much. But if it rallies on Monday, I might buy into the rally hoping for a breakout. Take-Two had a bit of a move already on Friday. I think this had a lot to do with their game announcement with Grand Theft Auto. But we're going to watch that this week. If you guys recall, when I did my end of year video a few weeks back, I talked about Activision and how that stock was undervalued. Microsoft even felt that way and basically bought them. I feel like a lot of these gaming companies could actually move even further from here. Let's watch Take-Two and see what happens. Ticker symbol TWO, Take-Two. Anyway, on Tuesday, we have Pfizer, probably definitely worth the trade. Not as volatile as Moderna, but still worth watching right here. Sometimes can make a good earnings play. CMG is actually it's always been a very good earnings play. Frugal Tiger's always been on the wrong side of CMG going into earnings. He's waiting for either a breakout this time on earnings or a breakdown on earnings. And I've been doing that for the last a few years. You guys remember my trading videos where I used to bet against CMG right into earnings. And then I basically, blew out my accounts multiple times. But I'm done with that now. That was a whole Frugal Tiger ago. And CMG is definitely a must watch for earnings. The next one I want to talk about is Peloton. Man, Peloton got beat the fuck up. You know, I knew Peloton was gonna crash, and I had multiple shorts on Peloton for a while. I didn't think it would get back down to 24, but what the fuck do I know? I started shorting it around 115. I think I covered around like 95. It was one of the few names that I was pretty much sure was gonna go down, but holy crap, I should have really stuck some more money there and really kept to that thesis. My goodness, $24 a share. But as you guys know, I don't really like to play the short game that much with individual stocks anymore, because I mean, we saw what happened with GameStop and AMC. Not that I ever shorted those names, but it's pretty scary, some of the movements in some of these stocks and what like one stock can do is like standard deviations past anything I expected ever. So keep that in mind when you go to short stocks. But had I been paying closer attention to Peloton, I should have just been waking up in the morning and shorting it. I should have even done that with Palantir, but I chose to become an investor in Palantir. That's my weekly rant in Palantir. Anyway, so Peloton, we have to watch Peloton. Let's see what happens. It's a fucking exercise bike with the TV on it. I can build one at home. I'm just kidding, by the way. But in all sincerity, they actually have a subscriber model where you can subscribe to their videos on their platform, and it's an interesting way of bringing in revenue. Having said that, it's still an exercise bike with a TV on it. So I'm curious to see what this earnings does to it. Probably not going to be buying. Honestly, you guys, should I take call options here on Peloton? It might actually be worth taking some call options here because it's gotten beat up so bad. I mean, so bad. There's potential rumors that Nike and Amazon might be looking to buy the thing. Jeff Bezos is going to buy another company. Can someone stop this man? My goodness. Okay. Anyway, let's move along. On Wednesday, so that was Tuesday. Tuesday, Pfizer, Chipotle Mexican Grill, fuck that company. Peloton. All right, whatever. Wednesday, we have Disney. I'm very curious. You guys recall my legendary video where I sold out of Disney at what I thought was a good price to be out of Disney, and it kept rallying. I made no sense until you factor in that Disney streaming is a really big contender or competitor to Netflix. So Disney is what I'm watching on Wednesday. Kind of watching more of their streaming video numbers and all that other stuff more than their park numbers because of COVID, And then on Wednesday, we have a big tech play, TWLO, TWLO. Watch that stock. Thursday, we have Twitter, we have AstraZeneca, AZN, and Datadog. So Twitter, pretty much watch every earnings season. Datadog lately, I've been watching every earnings season, and we have AZN, AstraZeneca. Must watch. Twitter has gotten beat up, and I had potentially suggested a buy back around 42. It's at 36 now. Will this thing ever bounce? It might bounce like Snap, but Twitter, I think, fucked up. I think it fucked up with over-censoring certain politicians and things like that. I think it pissed off a lot of people. I think you have to be very cognizant about censorship just in general. Having said that, Twitter is, I might take a earnings gamble on Twitter, you guys. It's been a while, all right, since I've done an earnings gamble. And I might buy some call options on Peloton just because it's fun, okay? Okay, moving right along now. What are we supposed to be looking at? So moving along, we are on Friday, and the only one I'm watching on Friday is Under Armour, UAA. And the reason I'm watching this is because they make really expensive clothing that's sold at a very expensive price, and people still buy it. So it's probably a very good trade here. Kind of been in the same area for I remember looking at this stock 3 years ago. I don't think it's really budged at all. My goodness. Maybe I should take it off my list. But sometimes the Under Armour could make a good earnings play. Once again, stick with all of the names we talked about above. And when all else fails, trade Tesla, you guys. So this week, I'm probably still going to be focusing on Netflix, Facebook, probably going to be focusing on trading Facebook, not just buying, but maybe even trading it. Amazon, AMD from the week before, and we got our earnings plays. So that's it for me. I hope you guys have a safe week. Don't blow out your account by shorting Chipotle Mexican Grill. And I'll see you guys next week. Let's survive. I just want